Good evening, welcome. Mm, Good evening. You can hear me. Can you just help me type something so I know you can hear me? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Thank you for responding. I appreciate that. Good evening. We'll just wait a bit for more people to join us. Hope your day was good. Hope your day was good. Mine was a bit stressful. Practically had to run home for this live. And yes, it's my first YouTube live. Thank you. Teenage Affairs. Hello to you too. Thank you. Thank you for joining. It's my first YouTube live. So you're going to tell me how well I did after this. Thank you for joining. Young adults is like a delicate dance. Okay, we are growing. We are growing. Please, you can just help me share the link. Thank you for joining. Share the link to your. It's like a delicate dance. Share the link to your status, your page, so others can join us. Thank you. Good evening. You're welcome. Welcome to Resilient Parenting class. This is a personal passion for me. Because I always say this, I work in a mental health institution, and the things I see in that place sometimes can be so, and many a times you just realize that these things would have been prevented, or at least minimized, if parents had sat to do what they were supposed to do. Hello, Kobe, welcome. If fathers got it right, if mothers got it right. So I'm just hoping and praying by the leading of God that this class helps us to, gain insights into parenting, especially in this century, especially when you are dealing with Gen Zs, Gen Alphas. How do you parent them in such a way that um, they are resilient, they are mentally stable, they are healthy, they are able to become the best version of themselves? I see too many teenagers come to therapy with anxiety, depression, substance use, addiction is becoming a very big deal currently in our society. And sometimes when you look back at their parenting, I tell some parents, if I were your child, I probably would use substance too. you know, because we cannot afford to keep parenting the way we were parented. So welcome to Parent Heal Thyself. I've also seen that over the past few months, where I've been talking a lot about the need for parents to parent the right way, I have had the chance to relate with a lot of parents, and I also begin to discover that you can't give what you don't have. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't give what you don't have. So I think this is the very first series to trying to bridge that gap, that in as much as I'm telling you to parent right, you could also be dealing with personal traumas, personal stresses that are, making it impossible for you to parent the way your heart truly wants. Your heart might really want to see the best for your children, but your learned responses, your trauma responses shapes you such that you are able to give your best to your kids. So welcome. Please share. If you've not subscribed to this page, please do me a favor and subscribe. Welcome. All right, so that this community can grow. We need to do better. We need to raise children whom, when we are not there, we are confident that we have done the right thing for them, and then they'll carry on, the legacy and the pattern. And whatever pattern you learn to use now becomes their own pattern. So we need to give them healthy patterns so that they too can, translate the healthy pattern to their children. So I want you to heal so that you can give your best to your child. So welcome. We have been 7 minutes in. We are waiting for others to join us. Today's topic is Parents, Heal Thyself. Because parenting while stressed is like trying to serve dinner from an empty pot. When you are parenting while you are stressed, it's like you are trying to serve food from a pot that is empty. Of course, nothing will come out of it. That is what parenting under stress looks like. So my aim for this class today is to help you feel a little, to refill you the best way I can. So welcome. So I've also decided that initially I had planned that this live session would be 2 hours, but man, personally, it's not realistic for me today. And I don't think we should do that because I also don't want you to, begin to have to deal with information overload. So I want to rather break it in two. We'll take this first part today, maybe next week or next 2 weeks. The actual plan is for us to take this once a month, but since I'm now breaking it in two, maybe we can do once in 2 weeks. So we are still able to cover the syllabus before the end of the 6 months, or by the end of the 6 months rather. So why do parents need to heal? Why do we need to heal as parents? Why do we need to heal as parents? Why should we bother? Many parents I talk to will tell me, Madam, I beg, the bills to pay, school fees is there, house rent is there, homework to check, dinner to cook you. I have 4 kids in my hand. So what's the use of healing when we need to survive? One thing I've come to know, whether by research or by personal experiences in the clinic, is that unhealed parents raise wounded children. Unhealed parents raise wounded children. If you heard that right, you can help me also write it in the comment section. Unhealed parents raise wounded children is the truth. And it's not because you set out to. It's not out of malice. It's just out of emotional leakage. You are leaking. The best way I can describe it for you is picture a tank, an overhead tank. Most of us have those in Nigeria, right? In your compound, and it has, a leak. It starts to drop on the ground. From up, it starts dropping on the ground. Initially, it starts like nothing is happening. Oh, it's just a wet floor. Later, grasses start growing there, molds start coming in, different things start, finding their way to that environment because there's a leak. So unhealthy things you don't want to be around that place begins to grow because there's a leak. That is the best way I can describe an unhealed parent when they are raising a child. Their emotional leaks would, definitely rub off on the children. So unhealed parents raise wounded children. We want to heal so that our children can be resilient, so that our children can strive, you know. So we want to heal so that our children can be the best version of us. All right. So unhealed parents raise wounded children. The truth is your unresolved pain becomes your child's atmosphere. Your unresolved pain becomes your child's atmosphere. So when a parent carries unprocessed trauma, you carry stress, you carry resentment, it gradually seeps in to your children in subtle ways. Initially, you won't even recognize what is happening, but later as they grow, especially when they start becoming adolescents, you begin to see that, oh, you probably didn't do this right. Things are not as they should be. So these emotional leaks can come from your tone of voice. Instead of saying, oh, live there, or don't do that. Oh, live there. What are you doing? You know, there's always a difference. I have many parents tell me, I don't think it's proper for children to always focus on the tone of my voice. They should rather take my message. And I ask them back, if I speak with you to you the way you are currently speaking with your child, would you listen to me? And they'll say no. So what makes you think that the tone of your voice is not important? All right. So you can have such leaks in tone of your voice. In impatience, you are highly irritable. All right. In emotional withdrawal, you are home and you don't want anybody to be with you. You don't want to have to deal with the stress of kids around you. So you give me space. I just need to rest. I need time to myself. But to the kids, this is withdrawal. This is you not giving them the right atmosphere for connection. So these are ways that leaks can seep from you to your children. Criticism that cuts deep. I'll repeat that. Criticism that cuts deep can also be a way where your children begin to receive leaks, emotional leaks from you. You are just, oh, you didn't do well in this homework, but you say it in such a tone and manner that tells the child, you are useless. You don't know what you don't know nothing. You don't know what you are doing with your life. You know. So criticism that cuts deep can also be a sign of an emotional leak from a parent. Children don't just listen to what parents say; they absorb what parents feel. So they don't only listen to what you say; they absorb what you feel. So your feeling most times reflects in your children. So if you realize that your kids always look unhappy, they always look irritable, or they're always fidgeting around you, check yourself, check your feeling. It could just be, you know, that they are replicating what you are giving them. So why do parents need to heal? Why do parents need to heal? Yes, thank you. Unhealed parents raise wounded children is the truth. Thank you. Thank you too. God bless you, ma. Why do parents need to heal? Number one reason is that, almost like what I've just explained, your kids mirror you. Your kids mirror your emotion. Your kids mirror your behavior. We during my initial classes, I had talked about that modeling. It's a scientific theory of modeling. What your kids see you do, they do. And what kids do almost always points to what they become. So what your kids see you do, they do. So one of the reasons why you need to heal and heal fast is because they mirror your nervous system. They mirror your actions and your behavior. So if you are constantly anxious, you are constantly angry, your kids also learn to expect danger. Because, I mean, the reason why you would always be irritable is when things are not going well. So your children learn to expect things not to go well. A healed parent models calm and helps wire a child's brain for stability. When you are healed, you model calmness. There is no irritability. There is no offense. There is no anxiety around you. You are able to model calm. But the unhealed person rather models anger, irritability, anxiety, depression. And what your kids see is almost always what they become. All right. So That is one reason why you need to heal as a parent. There are many ways. I talked about healing before, okay, but you can ask questions, we can attend to them as we go on in this class, or you can join the WhatsApp community and drop your questions there too, okay? So we will talk about these things as we go on. One of the easiest way for parents to heal is to recognize their own trauma, recognize their own pain, and seek help, seek support, either in form of therapy, counseling, talking to somebody. But you must heal. Another reason why you need to heal is that unhealed pain causes projection. All right, you begin to see your children through the lens of your pain, through the lens of your wound. A classic example I always give my parents is, imagine, most times it happens in my home too. A child is probably washing the dishes and one of the dishes, the plate, falls to the ground and you hear the shattering of the bowl on the ground, and maybe it's a chinaware, you're upset, it's expensive. Most of the time, our immediate reaction stems from a learned response. Maybe in our time when we were washing dishes and such a thing happened, the first thing that happens is your parents rushing towards you and probably giving you a knock on your head, giving you a slap on your face. It becomes a learned response. So once you hear the shattering of the bowl, instead of immediately asking, are you okay? At least you need to first check if the child is okay. A learned response will be, what is your problem? Why are you always breaking the dishes? Spoiler! So these are learned responses, and there are ways that you project your unhealed parts, your traumatized part onto your children, because you bring it from how you were parented. And I say it every day, the way we were parented will not work for these century children. It will not work. You see a 13-year-old. Oh, classic example. I woke up to a message, from on TikTok, on my TikTok page this morning. I woke up to a message, a private message that said, "Oh, Ma, please, I want you to help my brother. So a lot of things are going on with him." And I said, "Okay, what's up?" And she said, "Oh, he's just 13 years old. He's attempted suicide a few times. The last day he attempted suicide was yesterday. So I felt like I should reach out to you. Maybe there's a way you can help him." And I started asking questions. What happened? What's going on? And the young girl said, "I am not home, but my brother is home with my parents. And my parents are toxic." And I sat like, okay, now I understand why she chatted me up on TikTok about parenting and, helping your children thrive. So if a young girl, I didn't ask her own age, but she's apparently young to be bothering about a 13-year-old younger brother, it means she too is younger. Maybe she's a child of that family. If she is already having to carry the burden of protecting a younger brother who is currently trying to take, his own life because of toxic parents. If you ask those parents, maybe the child is the toxic one. We always have our perceptions, we always have our ideas. But it is the responsibility of a parent to protect their child, not to cause them harm. But if you don't heal, you will project your unhealed self to your children. And then the only language that Gen Zs and Gen Alphas have to describe such trauma response is toxicity. Oh, my parents are toxic. My parents are toxic. So I told her, okay, don't worry. Let's set up an appointment and I will talk to your younger brother. I have seen this one too many times, where parents just expect, my parents did it to me and I did not die. So what makes you think that your case will be special? Your case will be different. What makes you think you will be treated differently? You need to treat them differently. Now, I haven't said no discipline. If you followed my page and you followed my WhatsApp community, you know I am big on discipline. You must balance love and discipline. They must go together. It's not 50% love, 50% discipline. No, it is 100% love, 100% discipline. That is why I always preach the message of connection over control. You must learn to connect first with your children. It's connection that gives you the power to control them. But many of us think it is fear, and we put fear in them and we shout at them, then they will be disciplined. No, fear, shouting, control pushes them away. But when you connect on an emotional level, you connect with your kids, your children will know that even on days you do shout, on days you scold, on days you enforce boundaries, very strict ones, they know behind all this is a loving parent. Do your children know you love them? Not by your words, but by your actions. Thank you, boss lady. Do your children know you love them? By your actions, not by your words. A parent who loves a child would respond first to the safety of a child when he or she hears a shattered plate in the kitchen. If your first response is the price of the plate, the reduction in the number of dishes you used to have, absurd things like that, then something is wrong. Something is wrong. So the reason you need to heal is so you don't project your past. You don't project how you were parented. You don't project traumas. And trauma can come through any means and any way. We'll talk about that as the class goes on. You don't project it on your children. Another reason why you need to heal is so that you can set boundaries that improve them. You can set boundaries with empathy. You can learn, like I just mentioned. When I say boundaries, discipline, and love, I didn't say 70-30, 50-50. No, 100-100. 100-100. Oh, you ask them. You ask them if they think you love them. Nice. You can ask. Maybe that should be an assignment for everyone. Ask your children tonight. Do you think I love you? Do you know I love you? How do you know I love you? You'll be surprised at the things they will tell you. Discipline, 100%. Love, 100%. It's not 50-50. It's not 70-30. 100% on both sides. Okay? So healed parents are able to set boundaries with empathy. They don't set boundaries like you are dealing with an enemy. When I hear some parents talk about their children, I just ask them, this person you're talking about, is he your enemy? They will say no. He's your child? Yes. What your plan for their life is what? I want them to be successful. Most parents will tell me, in short, all parents, there's no parent that have not told me, I want my child to do well. I want my child to be successful. And I will say, so what makes you think this style, criticism, avoiding them, withholding things from them, making them feel very, very useless and worthless. What makes you think these are ways to get them to that success? And then many of them will say, my parents did the same thing. I am successful. And I'll ask them a question. You are successful right now, yeah? They say yes. Okay. But are you dealing with traumas? Are you dealing with some ghosts? Are you dealing with ghosts? Are you dealing with some things you wish shouldn't have happened to you in the past that happened? Then they say yes. And I'll say, so you are not healed. So success is supposed to be like all encompassing, right? So I'm successful, I'm career driven, I am making exploits in whatever God has called me to function in. But looking at your past, there are some things that you wish you would have changed. We don't also want to give our children those. Yes, we also have the team that would say, whatever I went through is what has shaped me to be who I am. But you didn't need to go through it yourself. You could have also as well learned from other people. You could as well learn from other people. Okay, so the focus is to give your children the best you, the healed you, and that healing helps you set boundaries. Healing breaks generational circles. I like to talk about this a lot. Healing breaks generational circles. If you've not shared this link to your friends, to your aunties, your uncles, your relatives, people you know will benefit from this class, please do. Put it on your status. Post it to any of our social media pages. Let people join. All right. We need to begin to change the narrative when it comes to how we are raising this new generation. We need to do better. I see it too much. 8-year-olds are in therapy. 8-year-olds are addicted to one thing or the other because parents are busy and then they are failing in raising a generation that thrives, not a generation that survives. We don't want to raise survivors. We are survivors. Yeah, our generation are survivors. We are in short, we have become so tough that we don't even know, most of us don't even know how to feel anymore. But we don't want that for our children. So 100% discipline, 100% love. And I said, when you heal, you are able to break generational cycles. You know, I always laugh when I hear people say, I believe very much in going to church to, break patterns or deliverance or all that. Okay. But sometimes I laugh when I hear people say, oh, this thing has been going on in my family. I want to go and break it. Most times I tell them, see, this pattern you are seeing, it's not something that needs to be broken. It's something that you need to consciously change because it was the way my mother did it. Or my grandmother did it that way. I saw my mom do it that way. Now I'm doing it that way. My daughter is going to see me do it that way. That is how we create generational cycles, generational patterns. And then by the 4th, 5th, 6th generation, we say, oh, we need to break this thing. The first step to breaking it is recognizing it and taking conscious decisions that, okay, I'm not going to keep doing what I'm doing right now. I'm not going to keep acting the way I'm acting. I'm not going to keep behaving the way I'm behaving. I'm not going to keep responding the way I am responding to my children, to people around me, or in my workplace. I'm not going to keep letting people be my triggers for anger or for anxiety or for depression. I'm not going to be seeking validation to my detriment. These are life-altering decisions that changes generational cycles. So when you begin to do it differently, your kids grow up and also do it the way you are doing, not the way your grandmother, your great-grandmother, or your mother did. So many parents unknowingly reenact what was done to them. The work you do now prevents that script from repeating. The work you do in yourself and for yourself now prevents the generational scripts. The script of how my mom did it. You hear some people say, oh, this household, the females are always so highly irritable. They are so aggressive. They don't stay in husband's house. You know the story. You see those. And then they'll say, oh, somebody grows up in the family and starts going from maybe one pastor or church or one religious house to the other because this is a pattern. This is something that we need to break. It must be the devil holding us bound. Meanwhile, it could just be learned patterns that has been passed from generation to generation that needs to change with you and I. The truth is you can enjoy parenting. Okay. Yes, I know sometimes their questions can be annoying, especially on days you are tired. Mommy, what is this? Mommy, did you do this? Daddy, did you go here? Daddy, what is the meaning of pink? What is the meaning of pink? Pink is the color. So I understand that it can be a lot. Then add that to bills to be paid. All right. It is a lot, but parenting can be enjoyed. When you are not drowning in unprocessed emotions, you find more space for joy. You find space for play. You find space for connection when you are not drowning in your own unprocessed emotion. You are able to give joy, play, connection to your children and to people around you. But when you are drowning in your own emotions, in your own unhealed emotions, you won't have space for such things. Some people, there are actually people I have met who, when they are happy, they become anxious, like, why am I happy? Why am I happy? Is something going to go wrong? I don't want anything to go wrong. Then that just drops their happiness level to 0 because something is triggering them from past, consciously or unconsciously. So parents, heal thyself. This is not just me being poetic. It's not just me looking for a sweet word to use to draw you into this class. All right? It's strategic. It's how we stop passing emotional baton of pain down the line. It's like a relay race. What are you passing to your children in this relay race? Are you passing anger? Are you passing anxiety? Are you passing depression? Are you passing frustration? Are you passing survival mode? Or you are passing joy? You're passing calmness. You're passing stability. You're passing wellness. You're passing high self-esteem. You're passing self-worth. You're passing self-awareness. You're passing leadership. What are you passing to your children on this relay race of life? What are you passing to your children? Healed parents create emotionally healthy children who in turn create healthier relationships and communities. Your children will the children that you raise in a healthy way also begins to raise their children in a healthy way. Imagine if the whole world right now decides to start doing things differently. And then we raise a generation that know no trauma, that know no generational patterns, that know how to thrive, that are resilient. Imagine what now happens to their own children. The world will change. The world will change. Jealousy, anger, gossip, bitterness, resentment, they will become things of the past because you raise kids who are comfortable in their own skin. You raise kids who don't need to people to feel good about. Imagine what that world will look like. So your investment today in healing yourself yields good fruits tomorrow in having a healed generation. Okay? So let's heal as parents. Let's heal. If you are carrying trauma from for a while, here, could you write on the chat box, please say, I am here. If you are still here, say, I am here. Just write it, write it, write it. I am here. I'm still here. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, boss lady. All right, we are still here. So if so far you have benefited, thank you very much. I am here. Thank you for writing that. If you are benefiting from this, could you please share? Send the link to your friends, family members. Let's heal. Thank you. I am here. Thank you for that. So what is stress? I know if I give all of us a chance to define stress now, we would all have many beautiful things to say about what stress is, all right? But the way I would like to define stress is that stress is your body's alarm system. Stress is how your brain reacts when it senses danger or pressure. Thank you. I am here. Thank you. Stress is useful sometimes. It keeps you alert when your child is probably trying to touch a fire or trying to touch an electric socket. Stress keeps you alert. Yes? Okay? And then when you are trying to meet a deadline, stress pushes you, gingers you to get there. But when this alarm that will say stress is your body's alarm system, imagine a situation where this alarm never goes off. It just rings continuously. It never goes off. Your alarm rings day and night. That's when we say you are experiencing chronic stress. And it quietly begins to affect your health, it affects your mood, and it affects your parenting. Chronic stress. It affects a lot of things about you. Chronic stress. When your alarm goes on, and never goes off. So you are always on hyper mode. All right? You are always hyper. Think of stress like salt in food. A little adds flavor, but too much stress ruins, or rather too much salt ruins the soup, doesn't it? So when you have a little salt, oh, the food is nice, it's tasty. But when you have too much salt, there's a problem. Okay, so think of it like that. Think of stress like that. So I want you to quickly help me type in the chat if you've ever shouted at your child for something small and later realized it was actually just your stress talking. So your child did something very small. You had shouted. It was later by the time you became calm, you realized, oh, I didn't even need to shout. I mean, what was that? All the child was just saying, mommy, 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 or asking questions like, what is pink? And you just, can you get out of here? Will you leave me alone? Can you let me breathe? If you have ever done that, can you write it? All right. You have shouted at your child for something small and later realized it was actually just your stress talking. Not even only your child. Maybe you just shouted at a neighbor, a colleague, a classmate, a friend, a spouse. After shouting, you realize, oh, shout, what was the use of this shout now? I've done it severally. After shouting, I'll sit down. I'm like, hey, Jehovah Nissi, how am I going to say sorry now? Yes, so somebody said yes, so we have all done it. Oh, only on your first child. Mind yourself without your first child. Thank you for writing that. All right, I hope you have changed the pattern. Okay, no need to ask. I hope if you can identify doing it only to your first, it means that others are not receiving the same thing. So that's a good thing. That's a good way to. That's a good indicator of somebody who is working towards healing or somebody who has healed. Okay, there are many times I will shout, and later I will just be like, why did I shout now? And because of these courses I have taken over the years, I'm able to go back to the child and say, oh, I'm sorry about that. I know you didn't deserve that, but I guess I was just in an off mood, So if you have ever shouted at your children, you are not alone. And this class is not, yes, ma, to my friends. Thank you. This class, that's a God day. This class is not to tell you not to shout. Even I would love you not to shout. But I know right now, actually how we were raised in Nigeria and in Africa, is really not a very, very realistic ask. We are all working towards that. But what you do after, when you come back to, when you now realize, oh, I shouldn't have done that, it's also very important that you say, oh, sorry, you didn't deserve that. Oh, sorry, I probably, did too much. So this home, yes, to my siblings. Oh, thank you for saying that. Yes, to siblings. To siblings. Lady Boss said, I'm the calm type. If I shout, you know I've repeated it a million times. All right. Thank you all so much for your responses. But this just tells us that a good number of us have been in that situation where we shout, where we just lash out. And sometimes you realize it's not really what happened. It is your interpretation of what happened or carry over emotions from things that have happened in the past. So let's be mindful of that. So how will you know you are stressed? Sometimes stress doesn't announce it. It doesn't announce itself with a billboard. It creeps in wearing your clothes. Stress creeps in as you. Does that make sense? Stress creeps in as you. All right. So you will know you are stressed when you are snapping easily. Small things make you feel irritable, make you feel like big insults, So that is an indication of somebody who is probably stressed. You forget things constantly. I had a period of my life where that used to happen to me a lot. So I leave maybe the kitchen, come to the room. I get there and I start asking myself, what was I looking for? Why am I here? I came to get something from this room, right? I can't seem to figure it out. It just goes. Many of us probably would have experienced that too. You forget things constantly. That is also an indication of somebody who is stressed. You're always tired, but you can't sleep. You know that? I know I'm tired, but I'm too wind up to sleep. I'm just here staring at my ceiling. That is stress. Your head aches. Your head is always aching. Okay? Your head, you drink water, it doesn't go away. You take medication, it doesn't go away. You can have relief for 2 hours, it comes back again for the next 6 hours. I had a sister whose headache was so bad at some point that we take ice block, and put them over her head, just wrap it around her so that nothing worked. Nothing worked. It was bad. I hope you can still hear me. My network is acting up. So if you have headaches that are not going away, shoulder pain that are not going away, stomach pains that are not going away, you've gone to doctor, they're giving you medication, you take the medication, the period of taking the medication, it seems to ease off, but once the medication is finished, you are back to somebody said, just mention my name and tag me. I always forget things. So be mindful. That's probably stress dealing with you. All right. So if once you finish the medication, you are back to having the pain again. It could be stress. That's why sometimes I advocate nowadays. That headache you are having that you run and take paracetamol. Maybe you should just see a psychologist. Maybe you should just see a therapist. You should just come and see me, and you just be surprised that the headache disappears when we have had 1 or 2 sessions, because it might just be stress acting up as a headache for you, or you begin to have palpitations for no obvious reason. Your heart just raises, your heart just beats. All right, it could be stress. When you start seeing yourself saying "I'm fine" with a kind of emotion, a kind of tone that tells people around you she's not fine. She's just saying "I'm fine" for saying "I'm fine" sake. People say, "How are you?" Say, "I'm fine." Like with the quarrel, we're quarreling. Why are you asking me how am I? Can't you see I'm stressed? When you begin to use that dangerous tone to reply, "I'm fine," that could be an indication that you are clearly not fine. All right. Emotionally, you might feel detached from your kids. A client asked me some time back, is it normal for me to feel like my kids are in stress? Even them coming to hold me, touch me, it feels like they are just draining me. I said, that's an indication of stress. Okay. You feel numb. All right. Or sometimes some of us who finally would decide to take a break. Once you take that break, you feel guilty. How many of us have that thing where if you are not busy, you feel guilty? If you are not actively doing something, you feel like a failure. You feel like you are useless, if I can use that word. I used to feel that until I worked on it. I realized it's trauma response. I brought it from home. Those days when if you just sit down, you are doing nothing, you are in trouble with my father. Like, why are you just sit down? Why are you just looking useless? You are in trouble. So we bring it into adulthood and we overexert ourselves. We overwork ourselves because we do not have the capacity to sit still. I was telling somebody that I recently had an experience where I traveled and I had 3 days to myself doing nothing. I was just there by myself, and it was the hardest experience of my life because I have never had to sit all by myself doing nothing. It was really difficult for me. By the second day, I realized if I don't deal with this and focus and learn something new while I'm here, I'm going to run out, and I will never give myself the opportunity to be with myself. Many of us have not learned to be with ourselves. We have learned to be with parents, to be with siblings, to be with spouses, to be with children. We have not learned to be with ourselves. And being with yourself is the beginning of self-love. When you are able to be with yourself and love your presence, many of us don't have that, and it stems from probably our own childhood, because being alone doing nothing was a taboo. And then sometimes you realize you are portraying it on your children too, where they just sit down doing nothing, maybe pressing their phone or maybe watching TV, and you're like, is the dishes washed? Have you swept this place? Have you washed the clothes? Have you removed clothes from the laundry, from the washing machine? It's not because those things need to be done. It's just because it upsets you to see them doing nothing. It could also be a learned trauma response. So don't mistake these signs for being strong. Strength without self-care becomes self-destruct. Parents need to learn to take care of themselves. You need to learn to care for yourself by yourself. All right? So these are some of the signs, not all. Okay, and you don't have to also experience all. You could be one, it could be two, it could be three. All right, it could be some things I have not even mentioned. But stress in parenting is real because we are juggling maybe work, family, children, extended family. We are juggling a lot. So sometimes if you don't take a moment to breathe, you just realize that life is just happening and you are just observing the motion, but you're not really taking it in. You're not taking a moment to take it all in. You're not experiencing it. Some 6, maybe 8 years ago, I had that aha moment where I just feel like I have a lot of events, experiences happen in my life. In that moment it happens, I move on from it and I forget about it. I forget because I realize that the reason why I forget because I never allow myself experience it. I just go through it, but I don't experience it. And many of us are like that. You can ask you now, what happened? What are you wearing December 2024? And you might not even remember because you didn't experience it. You knew it was, maybe Christmas Day or New Year's Day. You know that you cooked, you mopped, you cleaned the house, you received visitors, you did a lot of things, but self, what did you do? What did you do? How did you experience that day? No. Our joy, especially for women, our fun, our joy most times is giving, pouring into others, pouring into others, pouring into others. You need to start pouring on yourself. And this is not selfish. Self-love is not selfish. All right. Self-love is the beginning of healing so that you can be whole enough to pour into your kids and into your spouses. You cannot pour from an empty cup. I've said that already. So in what way does your stress appear? Let me know. Boss Lady has said that she's in the category of those who come into the room and forget what they are looking for. I used to be in that category too until I made conscious effort to be better, to do better, to focus on myself and my healing, So in what way does your stress appear? Or what is one or two things you have recognized as signs of stress for you? Headache, mood swing, silent treatment. I forgot to mention, this is classic for most Nigerian parents, especially the men. Silent. Once a man is stressed, he doesn't talk anymore. He doesn't play anymore. And wife is irritating him. Children are irritating him. Nothing, just silent. He becomes grumpy. How are you? Are there men in the house? Please correct me if I'm wrong. But the ones I have seen, they act like that. They act like that. So please write. I want to see it. Let 2, 3 people write for me. What is your own sign of stress as a parent, as a worker, as somebody else's child who is raising their own child? Silent treatment. In short, you are so tired that you don't want opening your mouth to talk it becomes a burden. All right. So many of us experience these stresses different ways. Okay. But I know that silent treatment is an anthem for a lot of men. Somebody said, Prince Priceless says, I transfer aggression a lot and I shout unnecessarily. Beautiful. So if all you need to do is to take note of what you have just written, so that as soon as you realize it's happening again, you take a step back and ask yourself, it looks like I'm stressed. So you breathe, take a step back and breathe. Okay. So it's good to recognize it. Recognize your style. I am the irritable one when I'm stressed. So it's good. Somebody says mood swings and silent treatment. Yes. So it's good you recognize it so that when you find yourself doing it, by the time you become conscious that I'm doing this thing, you take a step back and you strategize. Okay. So so far, if what we are talking about here resonates with you, please go ahead and share the link. Okay. Chris says, my sign of stress, I just go dumb and deaf. I just go dumb and deaf, no more talking. So I understand it. So the tricky part is Stress doesn't stay in your body alone. It spills into your children's world. That's how that thing that I was describing when we just started about the leaking tank. So you might say I'm the one that is stressed, but it spills into your children. When you are tensed, your child's brain picks it up. Okay? Their nervous system mirrors yours. If you are in constant fight or flight mode, they start to live there too. If you are in constant anxiety mood, they start to live there too. If you are in constant irritable mood, they start to live there too. So it might be your stress, but it translates to our stress. I keep mute most times. I love being alone for a rethink. Thank you for Nelson. Thank you. So it might be your stress, but once it starts spilling onto the children, to your spouse, it becomes our stress because everybody is now walking on eggshells, trying to ensure either mommy or daddy are not, shouting, give them space, just let them be. That's wrong. So I'm just trying to create awareness. I'm not trying to guilt trip you. All right. So this is not me guilt tripping you. This is me creating awareness that as parents, we need to become conscious of the little things that we do. If your home feels like everyone is shouting, if your home feels like everybody is silent, everybody's walking on eggshells, it's probably shared stress. Maybe once daddy comes to the house, everybody is just, it's shared stress. Daddy has come, carrying his stress, okay, and the kids see it, they notice it, and they adjust accordingly. It's not a good thing. Fathers in the house, don't pride yourself in that thing that our fathers did to us. Once our father entered the house like this, everybody just take 440. Everybody goes to hide in their different corners. You need to connect with your children. Somebody posted something about a 70-something-year-old retired professor who is now cooking his own food because 4 children that he raised are now living abroad. The wife has gone to be with one of the daughters who delivered since 3 years ago. The woman is still doing omugo. She has refused to come back home. So the old professor is now cooking his own food. And I was countering with an argument of, it's a problem. The guy was first saying that this is just the children and the wife being selfish. He has done for them. Now they are not doing for him, And I had to present a counter argument of, it could just be an issue of no connection. In the course of raising these kids, maybe the man was so focused on providing, which is beautiful. Paying school fees, ensuring there's food in the house and everything is good. But kids don't remember those, unfortunately. Kids only remember how you made them feel. Please take note. Kids only remember how you made them feel. It takes a level of self-awareness and personal work, deep inner work for a human being to remember what you did for them. It is how you made them feel that humans remember most. And that feeling comes from connection. So if your kids have started leaving home, I was telling a class I had some time back how I was working with a 13 years old boy then who couldn't wait to get to the university. He's just 13 and he's already planning for when he gets to university. And his reason is, I want to leave this house. My parents. This type of child who is already planning to leave home at 13, will it come back at 40 to come take care of his aged parents? There is no connection. And I tell parents, what you do with your children now when it comes to connection, please, provision is good, it's beautiful. You need as a parent to provide for your children, but don't stop there. Don't stop there. Connect with them at a deeper level, at an emotional level. Connect with them. All right? Because the seeds you sow now is what you are going to reap when you become old. So you're not going to start fighting, I've done for them, now they're not doing for me. No, check yourself. Did you connect with them? Now that they are out of your house, do they feel a sense of obligation towards you? Food for thought. I pray God helps us and helps us better. Okay, so your calm is contagious. So is your stress. It can be contagious too. Your chaos can also be contagious. So choose wisely. Okay, so we'll try something together tonight. I talk in some women group and I tell them breathe, and they are looking at me like I'm breathing now. I'm like, oh, how many of you consciously breathe? I am consciously breathing. How many of us do that? At least once in a day. Write it. I consciously breathe. Write it. I consciously breathe. I breathe consciously. Or just say I breathe. I would like to see how to do that at least once a day, because we have an automatic mechanism that allows us to breathe. Just go through the day. We're just no conscious effort. Thank you. The help room says I breathe. We have an automatic response, or a system, a body mechanism that we just breathe. But do you consciously breathe? That's a question to take home tonight. Do you consciously breathe? I breathe. Yes, thank you. I breathe. You should breathe. Okay? And one of the easy ways I've come to teach that is inhaling, hold, and exhale. Inhale, count 4 counts, hold 4 counts, exhale 4 counts. Or inhale 4 counts, hold 5 counts, exhale 6 counts. Depends on what works best. I like the 4, 5, 6 counts. I noticed that exhaling longer than you inhaled works best for me. I don't know what's going to work for you, but it's just basically you just take a deep breath, hold it, and then exhale. So wherever you are right now, let's do that. We're going to do it 4, 5, 6. Okay? 4, 5, 6. Inhale while counting 4 in your mind. Hold it, counting 5 in your mind. And exhale, counting 6 in your mind. So I'm going to give us some time to do that. You can begin whenever you're ready. I am ready, so I'm going to begin. I'm going again. If you did it well, you actually supposed to begin to feel your shoulders relaxing, your jaw unclenching, the tension around your neck begin to relax if you actually did that well. But it's not a one-day practice. This is something you have to practice over time to get used to it. So that when you're in traffic and that bus driver is triggering you. I had a period of my life when my son would say, "Mommy, stop shouting. Can't you see they are not well?" I'm like, "Oh, really?" There are some people when they're driving with you, they can trigger that part of you that is begging to stay calm. Just breathe. Just breathe. It's one of the things you learn and you are happier for it because you learned to breathe. Okay? So if one deep breath could make you feel differently, calmer, imagine what 5 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day of conscious breathing will do for you. Faith says, I breathe. Thank you very much. Conscious breathing will do for you. So breathe. Aha! Chris says, honestly, I hardly breathe. So become conscious. I'm happy you are here. Become conscious. become conscious, all right? Where does stress come from? For parents, it's easy to say, to note where stress comes from. I think number one place stress comes from for you and I is finance, isn't it? How will I pay school fees? How will I pay the rent? How will I fuel the car? How will I, healthcare, food, clothes? Stress comes from finances, financial pressure. Relationship strain. When partners are not on the same page, stress can come. When husband and wife are just doing their thing, husband says A, wife says Z, wife says Z, husband says A, it can be a stress-provoking situation for you too. Then there is that thing that I've seen with most parents that I've worked with, that guilt of, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing enough. The child comes from school with an injury in his hand because he had a fight with his classmates. Guilt, I'm not doing enough, I'm not raising them well, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. Calm down, all right? Lack of help. You are doing it all, you are doing it all, you do it all. You don't have help, you don't have support. It can be a source of stress. It is not superwoman, superman for you to do it all. Sometimes circumstances would require that you do it all because there is no help around. But if you have opportunity for help and you're not utilizing it, you are doing yourself. An example, you have a mother somewhere or an aunt somewhere who is very receptive and very loving and open to your kids. And you are weekends, you are not looking for one weekend in a month to send them to your auntie to say, okay, just go and live with auntie Bosse for 2 days so that you can have time to breathe. Like me. And my kids are moving from my mom's to my place. They are used to staying there because I covet that help. I use it. It's not superwoman, no, for you to stress, drain yourself. All right? Thank you for being selfish and intentional about yourself. You need it, priceless. You need it. So you need to be conscious of how you drain yourself because you can't give your best to your children when you are drained. So once in a while, take some time off. If you have a help that you can send them to, like your parents, your auntie, your siblings, send them. Take 3 days, take 2 days, sleep. Without somebody comes to wake you up by 2 a.m. to say, Mommy, I want to pee. Meanwhile, the child passed the toilet. And I'm like, oh, that's toilet. Go and pee. So if you have help, utilize it. Then unhealed childhood wounds are a big source of stress, and that is my major focus for the resilient parenting class. Unhealed childhood wounds, when your child triggers parts of your story that you are trying to forget from the past. When you have a child that is triggering it today, meanwhile that thing happened 18 years ago, 20 years ago, but somebody is, triggering you. Those are roots of parental stress. It can be more. These are just the ones I chose to highlight. So what you need to know is that sometimes your child is not the problem. Your past is, and your past needs healing. All right? Those things that happened to you in the past that you have not either forgiven yourself for or forgiving others for, or you have not healed from, or you have not made sense of. They are the culprits. It's not your children. You can't raise your child peacefully while fighting your own history. So you must heal. So these are stressors I have mentioned. All right. So I want you to take one, recognize one. If you recognize any of them as what happens with you, just focus on one and tell yourself this week, this is the area I'm going to work on. I believe every parent should start with that, accepting help from people. Yes, I understand that we are in a dangerous world. Yes, I understand that there are people that should not be trusted. But if you don't have 1, 2 trustworthy people around you, something is wrong. You need to change your circle. Something is wrong. You need to become intentional in friendships, intentional in relationships, so that you can begin to cultivate trustworthy friendships. Okay, so you must have that one person, that two people that you know, oh, this one I can trust my children with them. If you don't have any like that, please, it's not I know myself by myself. I don't know, you can't know everybody. Until you cannot know everybody, but you should know one person. You should know two that can be of help to you when you need it. So if you don't have some people, please begin to cultivate it. That's not a good thing. Okay, so in conclusion for today, I would like to say stress is normal, but unmanaged stress becomes toxic. The goal isn't a stress-free life, it's a stress-smart one. Your goal is not a stress-free life, because you won't have it. There will always be stressors around us, but it is being smart around the stress, being able to walk around it so that they don't break you down, they don't ruin your mental health, they don't ruin your children's mental health. 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 17-year-olds are dealing with depression, dealing with anxiety, because they are walking on eggshells around their parents. They can't have a meaningful, enlightening, insightful, clarifying, educative conversation with their parents. So I said it one of the classes I heard before. I know some of you, I know your children more than you. Why? Because they open up to me more than you. And I don't want it to be like that. I want you to raise kids that are able to be comfortable. Even when they do wrong, they are able to come to you to say, I did it. What are we going to do about it? We'll brainstorm and resolve it. Not the ones that keep secrets from you, the one that don't want you to know anything about them, because you catastrophize, you make a mess of everything. That is coming from an unhealed place. So when you heal, your kids are better. I would like to stop here now and welcome comments and questions. I know what you would like to ask me is, how do I now deal with this stress? That's going to be the part 2 of this. I don't want this class to be too long. We've already spent an hour, 8 minutes. Okay, so I'm hoping that in the next 7 minutes, we'll round up if there are questions. All right. So in 2 weeks, next 2 weeks, Thursday, precisely, I'll ask Faith to make an announcement in the group, and then we would, take the part 2. I don't want us to stay here too long. We'll take the part 2 of this. How then these stresses that we have talked about today, how then should we manage it, especially as parents who are trying to raise, the best version of themselves. Children who go into the world and take it and, do great things and make us proud. How do you heal so that your children will not carry over your wounds and your pains? So thank you very much for listening. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this has been helpful. You can still share the video with your friends. Okay, so let's ask questions if there are any pertaining to what we have just discussed, or any other thing that you feel like you like insights in. And then in 2 weeks, we would continue with how do you manage stress. God bless you. People call me lazy mom for doing that. Oh, he said I don't mind. Please don't mind. I do it too. Don't mind. It's for your sanity. It's for your mental health. All right. So don't mind. We're in a society where people want to make you feel bad for being good to yourself. That is wrong. So please don't mind. God bless you. Is it me? Is it my messages that are not coming, or people are not asking questions? We just have 5 minutes to go. So please ask your question. Question time. Oh, somebody said they are watching on TV. They can't comment. Okay, no problem. If you are watching on TV, you can't comment. No problem. So if you are not on the WhatsApp community for parenting, for resilient parenting, and you would like to be part of it, you can just also leave a comment in this section and we'll send you the link. There you can ask your question anytime, any day you wake up, and somebody would respond to you. I hope it is not me, because the questions are not dropping. Does that mean that if you know that you have learned, I have taught, you are happy with what we have received today, please put it on the comments so that at least I know that we can end this class properly. All right, I don't want to disappear on you. So if you know that you gained something, just put a line, just say something you gained, something you learned, so that we can end in 3 minutes. I hope it's not my network that is making me not see the messages. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. Okay. Well, I believe I would see the messages if you do send them later, and we'll try and compile it and also do a reply. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for staying up until now. I made a promise that I will not exceed 1 hour, but I exceeded with 15 minutes. Even though the class was supposed to have been 2 hours, but I totally feel like it's going to be too long. So we can always do this in bits. If we do decide to have the class before the 2 weeks, we'll also make the announcement, and then we'll ask you to join. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you. Oh, Faith finally wrote something. Thank you for the session. Thank you, Faith. I guess it's network, because I don't want to believe all these beautiful people are shy to write something. Where is Boss Lady? Priceless. Your goal is not a stress-free life, but being smart. Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much, Priceless. I appreciate you giving that feedback. Maybe we'll wait for one more. We have 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. Thank you so much for your time. So I will see you when I see you. But until then, don't forget to subscribe and like and comment on this channel. Let's grow this community. Let's also share. If this has been a blessing to you, please share. Lovette says, thanks for the lecture, Ma. Thank you very much, my darling. God bless you too. So I'll see you guys next 2 weeks or next week. So enjoy your evening. Bye. Very interesting and inspiring. God bless you, Teenage Affair. So I'm going to end this live now. Thank you so much, everyone.